So I think what we're doing when we do this is we're not really broadening religious rights. I think we're hitting the plateau where it can be tenable, because people are going to have to consider that there's a completely opposing side to these issues. So what kind of latitude are they going to give anymore? Like I personally would like to see exemptions shut down for religious groups that are able to completely bypass basic standards of care to the point where kids die in religious daycares, or you have kids dying because of faith healing practices or other idiotic things like that. And I think that kind of thing will happen more and more when other religious groups come in and take up the call and demand their rights the same as the privileged Christian groups we have today. Is everybody familiar with our monument campaign in Oklahoma? This is really our biggest thing right now, and that really took off not too terribly long after the Pink Mass, and that's when I started getting invited on talking with people and that kind of thing. But in what was it? I have it here. But it was a Baptist minister and representative in Oklahoma who passed a bill that would allow for the Ten Commandments to stand on the state capitol grounds. And his argument was that the Ten Commandments has this historical basis in constitutional law. Like that was kind of the founding document that upon which American constitutional law was based, which is clearly wrong. But on those grounds, they said that since then it's not a religious monument, it's actually a historical document. And plus, it was being privately donated. Ritz gathered up private funds to place the monument there. And so we thought we should do the same thing. Just like the open forum in Florida, we went through the same process that Mike Ritz went through. We wrote a letter, and we made an argument for the historical value of this. And I'll read verbatim for my explanation of the image of Baphomet, because I want you to know what it is verbatim, because I'm going to play the reply of one of the representatives in Oklahoma. It said, "The central image we have chosen in our monument design is known as Baphomet, a goat-headed, angel-winged, androgynous creature first rendered in its most widely recognized form by occult historian Eliphas Levi in the 19th century. The name Baphomet, however, comes from much earlier during the Crusades. Baphomet is almost certainly derived from Mahomet, or Muhammad, prophet of Islam. Muslims were the Satanized outgroup of the time. For centuries, Jews were regularly accused of things now attributed to an imaginary Satanist conspiracy: infant sacrifice, cannibalism, complex plots against the common good. During the early colonization of the U.S., it was commonly believed that the native Indians worshipped Satan. Later, black slaves were the afeared Satanists, believed to be entering into pacts with the devil as part of a supernatural plot to overthrow their oppressors. And of course, most everybody is aware of the Puritan witch hunts. These unjust accusations, these savage outgroup purges, are all part of the trial and error that helped us to realize our need for a rational secular legal system. Standards such as the accuser's burden of proof, the presumption of innocence, a respect for material evidence, all are a result of our finding ways to subdue brute mob intolerance. Today we are rightly offended by anti-blasphemy laws and divine fiats. Our monument will stand in honor to those unjustly accused, the slandered minority, the maligned outgroups, so that we may pay respect to their memory and celebrate our progress as a pluralistic nation founded on secular law." And I felt that was a solid enough argument, because you're going to have to take a very broad perspective of the formation of law if you're going to attribute the Ten Commandments to constitutional law, being that many of the Ten Commandments are counter-constitutional. So I was on Huffington Post Live arguing this point with a representative in Oklahoma, and he started carrying on about why the Ten Commandments is uniquely American and why it deserves standing. And he began blathering on, and I believe he's probably senile, but I'll let you watch. Now, the amazing thing is his reply to my reply. So you'll hear him talking, then you'll hear me reply, and then his reply is what makes it all worth it.
You talking about the codification of certain laws like thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit a murder. We do things like that all the time in the legislature. We pass laws, and most of our laws have some kind of moral impact. And so to say that it's not our jurisdiction to prescribe sanctions against one thing or another is really a fallacy, because that's what we do as lawmakers, and that's what we believe. That we don't believe that people should be stealing from people, and so we enforce those kinds of laws, and that's what we do as lawmakers.
But as a representative in Oklahoma, you represent Oklahoman Hindus, Jews, Buddhists, Muslims, as well as Christians, and even Satanists, insofar as you should maintain an environment in which each of these groups are treated with equal respect in the eyes of the law. If you don't understand that basic premise of holding public office, you have no business doing so.
Well, that's your opinion. I have my
It's a great clip because in so few words he summarizes the entirety of the problem. He feels that his duties in public office are but a matter of opinion, and he's free to go in there and put forward whatever agenda towards his own little tribal benefits. And I really hope people see from what we're doing that we're exposing the hypocrisy in that.